As you probably know, Google crawls your website to find the pages that make up your website so it can index it. So how it usually works is that Google gets to your homepage, and from there it starts looking for internal pages based on your navigation menu, on your internal links, and then finds the pages and adds to its index. But sometimes it can happen that Google maybe doesn't find every single page. Maybe it's not added to the main navigation. Maybe it's just a link in one of your blog posts and Google can find it easily. So what's the solution there? The solution is to add an XML sitemap file to your website. Basically, it's a file with a list of every single page that makes up your website, and then you submit that to Google Search Console so Google knows exactly what it's looking for. So that's the best way to make sure every single page of your website has the best chance of getting indexed. So how do you create one and how do you add it to your website? Well, it depends on what platform you're using. If you're using WordPress, for example, there are a bunch of plugins that generate the sitemap based on the pages and posts you already have, and then automatically adds it to, it's a file that gets added to your root domain, and then you grab that URL and submit it to Google. If you're not using WordPress and you are using something else, either you're coding it, HTML, PHP, or another platform or framework, whatever it is, you can just use an XML sitemap generation tool. For example, I'm going to show you one. Let me minimize this. All right, so I'm going to copy the link to CatLinks, my website, and then I'm going to jump over to xml-sitemaps.com. That's just one. You probably can find other ones. All you have to do is enter your domain here, click on start, and it's going to start. It'll take a while depending on how big your website is, but what it does is basically the same thing that Google does, which is crawl your entire website, finding links, finding anything that's interconnected within all the articles and the blog post and everything that you have on your website. And then it's going to give you a file that you can download and via FTP or whatever you're using to connect to your website, you can upload the file to your root domain. That's what we know as the sitemap file. And let me show you how it looks. If you open it here on your browser, there it is, sitemap.xml. So it has like a visual representation. This is exactly what it is. And then in this case, it's a sitemap index that's connected to other sections. So for example, there's a sitemap for posts, another for pages, another for our help docs categories. But here, Google can easily find all of the content that's on your website, all right? So it's really important. Try to work on this. Make sure that you have, let me get back here. So make sure that your website has an XML sitemap file. And once you have it, go into Google Search Console and make sure you submit it. So that's not included in this tip, but I'm going to go in there really quickly. So I'm going to Search Console right now. And let me minimize myself here. All right. And on the left side menu, you have sitemap, right? And then you can enter the sitemap. It would be something like sitemap.xml or whatever, and then submit. And you're going to see it down here, the sitemaps that you've already submitted, how many URLs have been discovered, if it was read correctly, or the status the last time it was checked, and when it was submitted. So when you do this, you're giving your website the best chance possible to be indexed by Google in its entirety. All right, so do that. That's the tip for this moment. Go to your website, make sure you have a sitemap file. If you don't, create it. Once you have it, submit it to Google.